at in zone. So which now he is aligned with the vision in order to so which now he is aligned with the vision in order to see forth their journey. I don't know where um in the storyline will they have to build through the web of the storyline altogether. Pretty sure I don't know if anybody was familiar, but Austin Theory used to be a a Seth Rollins Messiah disciple. So it's really interesting to see where that concept is going to all play a part, especially with him pulling off Seth Rollins moves. So at the end of the day, there is a pretty interesting storyline that they can have in the developmental work, depending on their long term storytelling. Again, with the Rey Mysterio aspect, they just stuck him in the mix because he's a legend. More so at this stage in his career, because you could just in any storyline, and then it makes everything comparable to everything at hand. And we also had Bailey taking on Roxanne Perez. Pretty interesting sequence of things that happened between um sorry, not Roxanne Perez, but her tag team partner with Liv Morgan and sorry, Raquel Rodriguez, unfortunately, within the Judgment Day, showing their shift again, per se, within this group faction. Again, pretty much the ones that could see some of the writing on the wall. Um, I don't know where I don't know where they have Raquel, within the storyline outside of that, but they've ever featuring between her, Nikki, Stephanie Valkyrie, all featured within a triple threat match that got announced over on this past Monday Night Raw, which can implement to a decent triple threat match that will sequence three different styles at this point. So I am interested in seeing heavily seeing those characters all developing throughout the story. Another thing is too because we have Naomi that was requested to be hello there, Gavin. Requested to be Superstar Woman of the Year for 2025, which is not arguable considering her character development, especially from when she had first carried on and everything. So it's really a rewarding to see that Naomi did get the recognition that she deserved this year. Hello, baby G flies. Um, Again, wanted to see more where the storyline takes place for the Vision, and like I said, for the Judgment Day. Do I feel like there will be a split at some point? I honestly do. I don't see where I don't see where there's too many things keeping the Judgment Day um really at this point relevant unless you have a Finn turn and a Liv turn. Again, it can introduce a lot more to their long-term storytelling, especially when hello there everybody in the chat, make sure you subscribe. Especially from when Liv had gave Dom her hotel key that one time a while back. I don't know if anybody ever hinted back to that. I always thought that was going to be the rift caused between them, especially because of Finn. Evil Larry, I don't know. Um, but again, Finn should be the marquee factor of why this group should disband. He did help pull everything together after Damian and Rhea had betrayed Edge shortly after. So I have a feeling that he should be the one to break everything off since he's the initial one that kicked the original founder out. So, sure, sure thing. You can tell me about him. So again, we've seen also Rhea Ripley. I am interested in seeing the where these four women of tag teams all go ahead and finally correspond. I don't know who might end up getting like a number one contenders match. I don't know. They might end up doing um literally a they probably end up doing Rhea Ripley, Io Sky against the Kabuki Warriors, coming up to their next PLE, and then probably will have Lash Legend Nia Jax, going up against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair in order to go ahead and determine their number one contenders matchup. Probably determine so. But one of my things I was pitching for was a women's fatal four way matchup. I feel like with the different styles and different concept of tag teams in the ring, I feel like it will bring a fast paced matchup that will be electrifying. But again, it remains to be seen what WWE will want to do with all their superstars, especially at their highest available talent at this point. And he's always okay. Um, but yeah, as far as the Braun Breaker going up against CM Punk, that match is highly recommended. We still see them wanting to cut more promos leading up to it. We are about less than 1 week away from day one, and it's going to be very interesting concept and contest for these two competitors, especially with the work that Brian Breaker has introduced and dropped on the mic for us these last couple of weeks when referring to Punk, saying that he wants the best in the world. I do believe we might end up getting like a really great 5-star rating matchup. Believe it or not. Again, I am the biggest Braun Breaker fan. I do think in 2026, I feel like him and Bronson Reed will probably take the next parallel over. Braun Breaker has kind of shown us that he is the main event talent, somewhat in a host with him and Paul Heyman. But there could also be another concept of where we could probably see maybe Brock, maybe him and Brock. That would be a very interesting physical matchup. Don't know if anybody would be thrilled to see that, but I will be highly interested. Again, with their two concept of styles, it still will be a very interesting matchup. I would also like to see Braun Breaker versus Gunther at some point as well. Again, Gunther. Um, Abari at this point is 2025's. If I could, I would probably name him probably top hills between him and Seth at this point. There's too much to determine. I think Gunther, as far as his style is concerned, his overwhelming style, it plays into the storyline of everything, so it makes it more it makes it more believable into the story. And also, hello there, Alexandria. Sorry about that if I incorrectly say your name. How you doing? So again, it is going to be a nice um nice timeline that they'll have to build up more storylines. It is very interesting to see who they might end up having within the Royal Rumble concept itself, and not only within the Royal Rumble. I'm not sure they're going to do Elimination Chamber that'll lead up into that before Mania. It will be kind of nice to see it, or maybe a different concept. Evil Larry is always evil. Okay. Um, Again, it will be a nice to see that concept. Again, Ron Breaker. I feel like he will be the future world champion. Will it be at day one? It'll be kind of nice to see it. My own biased opinion, I don't feel like CM Punk, in this day and age, for his age and for what moves he can somewhat relatively do, I don't feel like he'll translate to long term world championship caliber unless I feel like with certain I feel like with certain heels in WWE, they can carry the title depending on how they want it. Again, if you did it in the most, heelish way, that's always one way. I always feel like they should keep it. Depending on babyface, if like they're not the most excited or most hyped up babyface that there is, and sometimes there's not that much the reason why they need to held the belt. I wasn't the biggest Jey Uso fan when he held the belt. Honestly, I think implied that he was going to only have it for 4 months. Um, Again, my prediction, whatever it is, he ended up going ahead and only holding it for less than that. So again, shout out to Jey Uso. Hopefully, he can win back and bounce back at some point. I would love to see him go heel. That is the other concept. I don't feel like we have too many strong dominant heels. Too much at this point. I feel like your last strong dominant heel was definitely. It was definitely probably Roman of the last of the 2020s. I can definitely say. So that's probably like your last like long heel reign that lasted a long time, and that drawing the crowd more so to it because the omniscience or the aura per se of how he held himself during the championship reign during the 2020s was always one that was like highlighted as a spectacle. So it was like always like once in a lifetime. So again, if you weren't a part of the Roman Reigns Tribal Chief era, you definitely had missed out on a I can't say once in a lifetime, but that character itself will never hit the no character in WWE will eclipse it whatsoever. So again, there's more I wanted to say. Javon Evans has been showcasing us a very featured matches, rather if it's on PLEs, Monday Night Raw or WWE SmackDown. He is featured heavy. Eventually, he is going to get the call to the main roster. There's no question about it. Javon Evans has been showing us exactly who he is. He's the young OG. And now at this point, I feel like the young OG will be in the main roster, on the main roster, before anybody would realize. Again, another superstar I am going to be interested in looking for is I advocated for these three superstars to be on the main roster since going to NXT these last couple of years because they have showcased us a um, spectacular matchup between Trick Williams, Javon Evans, and Obafemi. Again, I am three highly young superstars on that roster. I am looking forward to see. If I'm not mistaken, I heard one exact rumor saying that Trick will probably be featured on SmackDown, and if the rumor is correct, I can see him and Mello probably revisiting a short stubby feud to introduce one of the two in, probably so, and maybe even so in the case because I think they were also hinting that Carmelo Hayes will also be the one to dethrone Ilya Dragunov for the United States Championship. If that's the case, I am here for that. I am a Carmelo Hayes fan, not non-biased, just my own personal preference. Um, I was always a fan of the Mellow Don't Miss aspect, and I feel like he was always underutilized on the roster since heading to the main roster, and especially since this is the guy that on his first night he had a decent, fair outing against the WWE champion, Universal Champion, and Cody Rhodes. So at some point there do needs to be a concept to where he and Oba do have to run it back. I do feel like with Cody at the Fort Helm of the face of the company per se, for the younger generation, I have a feeling like this will bring a different concept of work for him, so he can start building up more superstars, and then I feel like his title reigns will have more of a meaning also to them as well. But that also is placed upon like the fans and where they see everything. Again, Cody has been a decent champion, not one that I would want to consider holding for a long term time, unless that's WWE's decision. But I can see him losing to Drew McIntyre at this level of this event. Hopefully, we do get to see Drew with the belt. Again, we haven't seen him with the belt since 2020, since 2021, since losing to The Miz via Elimination Chamber. Again, I am heavily advocating on that. And then, even if with McIntyre as champion, I would love to see him and maybe Randy run it back at some point. And also would love to see perhaps maybe another Gunther versus Randy. So it's the best of the Legend Killers. That would be one of I would be advocating for also as well. Not sure if that will happen again since we had them face off at King of the Ring or not. Well, I think no, it was going to be a build up, but we're end up going ahead and end up seeing them face each other probably at some point down the line, seeing who's the best of the Legend Killer. And I will also advocate to see Brock Lesnar versus Gunther, since Gunther has been the Legend Killer for all 2025, and he's gotten rid of the biggest legend that there is for WWE, which is John Cena. And I have a feeling that they'll run with this since he has been the biggest troll that there is in 2025, which I will give him troll and predominantly heel of the 2025 as far as Monday Night Raw is concerned. But again, that's my take. Everybody else has had everybody has a different opinion. And when it comes to WWE, we is all here for the entertainment and the enjoyment of the story. So again, if anybody had enjoyed my take, please make sure you hit the subscribe. Please make sure you go ahead and push the content out, like, and make sure you like. And then please join me in for my wrestling content for when we go ahead and go live later on. We'll be discussing SmackDown tonight. And then we're going to also talk about some more concepts later on. So again, if you are, hit the subscribe, join me for and hit the notification button. Make sure you join me for my next session. And then we'll be more with you for more wrestling content later on. Have a great one, everybody.